Hello, I'm Simon Christie and welcome to Your 4x4. We're up here in the northwest corner of Victoria. We've got fantastic weather, cars driving past us as you can hear, and we're looking forward to some fantastic four-wheel driving. I've got to get the Colorado packed. Let's get out there on the tracks.
Your 4x4 is presented by the Holden Colorado 7, Light Force Performance Lighting, Brown Davis Automotive, Kmart 4-Wheel Drive, ARB 4x4 Accessories, Piranha Off-Road Products, and Burma Diesel.
Good morning guys, Alan Johnson here from Piranha in beautiful downtown Balranald. Now we've just had breakfast over at the bakery, cup of tea, and we're ready for our morning's exercises.
Hi guys, David from Kmart 4-Wheel Drive, and yep, here we are again for another episode of Your 4x4. We stayed last night at Balranald and here we are heading into the Sunset Country today.
I like a backtrack, but they're a lot more rich, like in the sense like...
Good morning everyone, I'm Hayden from Light Force.
Good morning everyone, I'm Cameron from Brown Davis Automotive.
This is my first four-wheel drive trip with everybody, so I'll be experiencing some good country, meeting a lot of nice people and learning the rope with people like Cameron here and the guys from Your 4x4.
Hi, I'm Matt Frost from ARB and here we are again with the crew from Your 4x4. Now this is a trip I'm actually really looking forward to. This area that we're heading into for the next few days, which is known as Sunset Country, I've driven through here countless times. But generally speaking, whenever I come through here, I'm doing 100 k's an hour up the highway on the way to Broken Hill or Cameron's Corner, or even further afield than that. So this trip, we're actually going to stop and explore the state forest around here along the Murray River, and then we're going to head across into Sunset Country later on this afternoon. So it's certainly going to be a fantastic trip and an area that I've never really been through before.
We've got the crew along as always and we're looking forward to a terrific trip, so guys, come along for the ride and enjoy.
I've never really spent much time in the area, but once again, this is only the second trip, so it's just exciting to get out, see what the cars can do and have a bit of fun with some people that are industry leaders.
Part of any trip preparation when we're coming up this way is also to contact the local agencies. So that's what we've done. We've contacted the local national parks just to make sure that all the tracks are open, which they are, which is fantastic.
When you're coming into this sort of area, when you get into the actual parks themselves, there's three areas. There's the lower part, which is Albuquerque, there's Big Desert, Little Desert, and Hattakulkyne. There isn't many fuel stops in amongst those big national parks, so you will need to carry a bit of fuel. Now, the distances aren't enormous, but obviously if you're doing big loops and circles, you'll need to have plenty of fuel. There's plenty of servos around, there's no excuse to run out of fuel, so get yourself organised and go for it.
So this morning we pulled out and we went straight along to a bit of arid cattle country right along the edge of the Murray. The surprising thing is that you're not travelling more than half an hour and you're coming into luscious green forests like we're in at the moment. And then of course we already know that where we're going to be heading after this is considered a desert.
It's a good drive through there actually. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately it was just a maze of tracks there and I think we could have well and truly got lost if we continued on through the forest there, and obviously we had to get into the Sunset Country.
Dotted all the way along the Murray River are magnificent campsites just like this one. Now you need a four-wheel drive to get in here and a four-wheel drive to explore these areas. It is absolutely awesome. We've got to get moving now. We've taken some fantastic photos, so let's get back on the road.
It's very important that when you go through private land that you do open and shut the gates. Of course, if there's any signage saying you can't go through there, well then don't. But there are quite a number of tracks, as I say, that do go through private land. So you make sure you respect where you're travelling, open the gate, shut the gate afterwards, and
If it's open, sort of leave it open and try and leave the place the way you found it.
keep your speed down as well, obviously, with all that livestock around.
I'm happy. I'm smarter than a sheep. He won't be able to get through.
Well, we did the bottom part of the Hattakulkyne National Park, which is just a little bit of a short loop. And the tracks there are pretty damn easy, really, aren't they? I mean, they're like roads, if you think about it. Quite pretty countryside and very different from the River Red Gums, isn't it?
Yeah, it changed a lot from the red scenery, and then it got more into the sandy sort of area, and then it went sort of back again, and it was really enjoyable. It's actually good to, from my point, being a first timer, to start off and try and learn some skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Very safe.
I think one of the best things about northwest Victoria is the fact that there's so much to explore and so many different places to see. Whether on the edge of the Murray or where we're heading this afternoon with a bit of sand, it's just amazing to go through so many different locations, from the dry ground through the huge rivers that we have surrounding us. One of the most amazing things is as you're going along, you're constantly transferring from the bitumen of the road to the desert sands, to dirt, to mud. And that's what makes the trip so much fun. And it makes also just being in your car and driving along, and the way it handles and the difference in terrain makes it just more and more enjoyable.
This sort of scrubby mallee country, quite different to sort of anywhere I've been before actually. It's a fabulous environment. And it's a haven for wildlife as well. Again, these are the sorts of things you miss when you're just driving straight up the highway, heading up to Mildura. You miss everything at the side of the road. I mean, what have we seen today, Samuel?
We've seen a wedge-tailed eagle, we've seen some emus, some kangaroos.
The parks itself, the roads and everything have been in remarkable condition, considering obviously they've had a bit of rain up here in the last couple of weeks, so it's just been a sensational place to come and see.
You look around and you know that with the weather changes, the terrain's going to change. And with any change, it's going to be fun and different. Whether it's wet, you get that little bit more mud, or like at the moment, it's quite dry, and we get to have that nice sand.
And also, like from lunchtime, we've come back into the sunset country. And I've never been up this area before, and to think that we're actually still in Victoria and we're seeing a lot of red sand, a lot of short shrubbery, lots of dry timber, some fantastic big salt lakes and big salt pans and all that sort of stuff, and plenty of water in around them as well.
Next up, it's the YOUR4X4 email competition.
Well, thanks, Simon. Our entry this week comes from Chris Baker, who has written, "I love my 4x4 because it takes me to empty spaces and empty places."
Thanks for sending in that email. You've won yourself a Lightforce tack torch and stubby holder. You've also gone into the draw for the ARB twin motor compressor and projector 600 watt pure sine wave inverter. For full details on all of the YOUR4X4 prizes, check the YOUR4X4 website.
ARB, Australia's largest manufacturer and distributor of 4x4 accessories, has everything you need for your next off-road adventure. From bull bars and suspension to recovery gear and lights, we've got four-wheel drives of all shapes and sizes covered. Whether you're heading off the bitumen for a weekend getaway or preparing for that epic round Australia trip, enjoy a safer, more comfortable journey with ARB. To order a copy of our free catalogue, visit our website or give us a call.
Does your diesel smoke, lack power, or have poor fuel economy? Then you need the Burma diesel treatment. Fine-tuning diesels since 1956, The Burma diesel technicians are Australia's leading diesel wizards. From a turbo installation to a high-tech dyno tune, when you think diesel, think Burma Diesel. Visit thedieselexperts.com and make an appointment for more power, more torque and better fuel economy.
Warning, beware of imitation lights. Only Lightforce Performance Lighting guarantees Australian made, no leaking or melting, quality output and 3-year warranty. Unlike their imitators, Lightforce lights feature peerless construction, leak-proof seals, impact-proof lenses and filters, vibration and fracture-resistant mounts and housings, and stainless steel fittings, outshining and outlasting their impersonators in every way. Often imitated, never replicated. Visit lightforce.com for the full range of authentic Lightforce lights.
30-second kitchen, a kitchen in 30 seconds. Fridge slide first. Fridge slide's got 130 kilo tracks in it, so it's nice and tough. Remove the R-clip, don't lose it. Drop the pin, leg locker. Kitchen now. Lock kitchen down here. Retrieve the R-clip. Lock on here, R-clip in. Leg here, pull them together. Stove, billy. How good's that, guys? Couldn't ask for quicker.
The whole way, that's the comment you hear. I can't believe we're still in Victoria, and the surprising thing is, it's an easy day trip, like a very easy day trip from both Adelaide and Melbourne to get here. You could do an easy weekend and have a great time. 2 nights, it's perfect, and that's one thing that really hits home, is that you don't feel like you're in Victoria, you don't feel like you're anywhere near home, you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's just absolutely brilliant.
And I think also we've got to look at ourselves. This is August. Beautiful clear blue skies up here.
18 degrees. Today.
18 degrees today. The sun was sensational.
It never ceases to amaze me. We're about 6 hours from Melbourne at the moment, and we could be in the absolute middle of nowhere. We've seen nobody all afternoon. We've got the most fabulous campsite tonight. Again, nobody around. Just a fabulous place to be.
Well, after Hattakulkyne, we went into basically what we are now, sunset country. And we're actually right now here at Mopoke, which is our destination for the night. But getting here was a lot of fun. We had a huge big sandhill to have a go at climbing, which was great.
Yeah, that was good.
It always amazes me on these trips, the variety of vehicles we get. I mean, we've got a whole new generation of vehicles on this trip. We've got the new Colorado 7, the Holden Colorado Ute, we've got the Ford Ranger, Dave's obviously out in the Prado again, and I'm in a Nissen Patrol.
Yeah, that was excellent. A lot of fun. It got harder and harder as more and more people went up it.
It did indeed. We learned a bit about tyre pressures and about the right way to approach things and not stopping up halfway up a dune.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Yeah, I think that the first time was a little bit sketchy, but the more times you practice things, these things do get a little bit easy, especially starting off and learning the ropes with experts and knowing how to improve your skills as the day goes on. So yeah, it was really enjoyable.
Well, from my point of view, years ago when I was learning to try and motorbike ride in the sand, this is where we came to our practicing because it's the closest thing to Melbourne. And it's a little bit like the Simpson Desert. Not a lot, but a little bit.
The couple of sections were.
Yeah, yeah.
But the rest of it was pretty firm and comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a very safe place to practice.
you find yourself, especially for someone that hasn't done a lot of four-wheel driving, your tyres are being pulled one way or the other way in the sand, and it's another great, what do I want to say?
You got stuck.
I did get stuck.
You did get stuck.
You do get a lot of dust. Now, the dust gets kicked up from all sorts of things, other cars in the convoy and such, which means you want to travel at the end of the dust of the car in front of you, not in the dust of the car in front of you. That way you can see where you're going.
Well viewers, what a fantastic day of four-wheel driving we've had here in the northwest corner of Victoria. There's been some highway kilometres, we've done some Murray River touring, we've done some four-wheel driving in the Murray Sunset Park, and here we are at Mopoke Hut. The sound of tent pegs being hammered in behind me there. We're setting up to camp for a fantastic evening here.
Stretch it out to
Cool this morning, and obviously it's going to be cold overnight, so you've got to prepare yourself, which is what we're doing at the moment, getting ourselves a fire going. We've already set up our camps and our lights and all that sort of stuff, so we're ready to sit back and enjoy a fantastic evening of social banter and a bit of fun with everyone around the campfire.
Well, the question for the experts this week comes from Wes Aris, and Wes wants to know, should a vehicle being snatch recovered be in a higher gear than the recovery vehicle, or is this a myth? Well, let's cross over to our resident expert, David Brickhill from Kmart.
Wes, it's a myth. No, look, basically it's where and when and how the situation pans out. So, you know, you can be in a low gear or high gear, but it's all about communication is snatch strapping, and it can be very, very dangerous. So it's always good to make sure that you're using proper rated recovery points, proper rated D-shackles, and a properly rated snatch strap. And that's the most important thing that you can do when you're snatch strapping. But snatching is obviously part of four-wheel driving, and part of the fun of four-wheel driving is recovering each other and all that sort of stuff and looking after each other. So be safe doing it. But Wes, for that question, it's definitely a myth.
Thanks for sending in that question. You've won yourself a pair of Piranha diff breathers. You've also gone into the draw for a Brown Davis underguard, a pair of Light Force Striker driving lights, and an RFI antenna.
Sometimes the front runners lead from behind, and when it comes to protecting your rear, Kmart are world leaders in rear end protection and tow bar combinations. The just released Prado 150 is no exception, with a bar that is designed to follow the car's lines and work with your sensors and factory camera. For the best in rear end protection, trust Kmart. It's a statement, not just an accessory, but the toughest of 4x4 trips. For more info, go to kmart.com.au.
Got a tough 4x4 tourer and enjoy hitting the tracks? Odds are you'll need some serious underguard protection and a heavy-duty long-range tank. Brown Davis Automotive offer aluminized steel underguard protection plates and long-range tanks for most popular makes and models. They're designed and developed right here in Australia and have been tested to the extreme right across this great country. Remember Brown Davis Automotive. It's a trusted and family-owned Aussie business and proud manufacturers of high-end tanks, underguards and more.
Getting up this morning and, a little bit of cloud cover this morning, so I think that just took the edge off the frost last night, which was good. But we got up again this morning, bacon and eggs, away we go. Of course, the Bialetti coffee.
Got the coffee on the go.
Where would you go without your coffee? Grounding there, grounding away his beans and all sorts of stuff.
Those tracks this morning were fairly
good fun.
Soft sand, pretty rough in places, lots of washouts, corrugations.
Yep.
And what a difference 10 psi makes in the tyres. I couldn't get over that.
Getting up the dunes this morning was a piece of cake. They're not hard dunes, they're not super difficult, but they're great dunes to practice on. If you were thinking about doing a big trip into Central Australia or the Simpson Desert or something, this would be a terrific area to go and practice and just hone your skills a bit,
Exactly.
I think. Yes. Yeah,
No, it's a great spot and a great place for amateur four-wheel drives to give it a go, because you know that even if your vehicle isn't set up 100%,
you're still going to be okay.
You're fairly close, and it's nothing too dramatic that you're going to be caught out sort of in the middle of nowhere, so it's probably a perfect place for us.
And also, if you're new at this, I think it's really important to have that communication and to look after each other.
It is, and don't be embarrassed. I mean, I've travelled with a lot of inexperienced drivers before, and it's actually a great opportunity for those people to gain some skills in a very controlled environment. And we've got obviously some very experienced drivers here with us today. And if you are new to four driving or new to driving in this sort of country, just watch what other people are doing. You don't have to get everywhere in a hurry. Take your time and drive to the terrain.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's all too easy on these tracks. You'll get a nice straight section and you'll be able to sort of sit there on a smooth gravel road, and then all of a sudden you might have a bend, you might have a washout, and a track that's in good condition can very, very quickly deteriorate just in a few metres. So.
And that's again communication, like the lead car is doing that. Normally the lead car is probably someone who knows where they're going. Make sure that you discuss that and let the rest of the crew know behind you. Look, probably just watch that corner coming through, watch that washout, and it just makes all the difference on keeping the rest of your convoy safe and all having a great trip.
Well, Alan, I'd love this afternoon's drive. I mean, driving down here into the YOUR4X4 National Park, which is an area I haven't been to before, and it's not really what I was expecting. I mean, a lot of the vegetation, the scrub, reminds me of Southern Africa.
Yes, savannah country, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, in particular, when we were driving down the eastern boundary of the Wirrangren Plain, it was almost like I was expecting to see wildebeest out there and stuff like that. It was
giraffes and things poking their heads out.
Quite remarkable,
yes,
actually.
I know.
The snowdrift was amazing. I don't know how tall it was, but geez, it would have been as high as a
3-4 house.
3 or 4 story building.
We're going scouting to go where no man has gone before.
So, you've gone from an environment where on the right-hand side you've got these really quite high sort of sand dunes to an environment that is a lot more dense sort of forest and sort of narrow tracks where you're doing a lot more lefts and rights. So it's one of those things that you certainly appreciate where you're driving with the change of environment.
The other thing that surprises me is just how green it is around us. Look at it. This is supposed to be a desert country and it's lush and green. When you come into these sort of areas, there's such a myriad of tracks. And we've had a bit of fun with navigation. We've actually had a very good navigation system, the GPS, plus we've also had the paper maps. And even with that, we've run awry a few times because tracks are closed, obviously for revegetation and such, and that's not told you on the maps of the GPS. So we've ended up in a place we didn't expect to end up here. With our campsite tonight, we're going to be at Lake Albucacha on the western beach. And here we are on this magic spot now instead.
It's great to just get out, and that's what I find is the best part about it. I mean, the driving part's great, but it's also, we spend a lot of time sitting around having a chat, sitting around having a drink around the fire, and that's the biggest part of getting into the outdoors is no longer have you in front of a TV, a radio, or whatever else, or sitting on your mobile, especially for kids. And I mean, we've got kids here. It's great just to get out, have time, socialise, learn. And that's the other thing is that you have a great day like today and then you sit down and talk about it. And that's another time that you learn a lot more from guys that have been doing this for 20 odd years.
So I thought I'll stop in Corryong to buy some bags of firewood.
Our first entry for the week is this GU patrol, crossing Rosie Creek at Lorella Springs in the Northern Territory. Next is this tidy looking Suzuki Jimny with a custom lift, muddies and other good gear. This 4B is made from a Datsun 1000 body, LJ50 running gear and a Datsun 1200 motor. This photo was snapped with the 200 series on a recent trek down the Canning stock route. And the last entry for the week is this Nissen Navara running 33-inch muddies. This shot was taken at the top of Mount Terrible on a misty winter's day.
If you've just seen your photo and you're the first to email danny@your4x4.com.au, then you've won yourself the Projector 12-volt portable power station. All photos will go into the draw for the series prize of a DP chip diesel power unit and the amazing 12-volt travel buddy oven.
Well, viewers, today may not have gone to plan, but we've had an awesome time out here just enjoying the bush and what this region has to offer. There's been some beautiful tracks, some fantastic scenery and some really surprising terrain. Well, we've got plenty more lined up for you next week, and hopefully we're going to get into some more serious, some steep sandy hill climbs over just south of Murrayville, just inside the Victorian border and in the Great Desert area where we've been working today. I'm Simon Christie. You're watching Your 4x4. Big thank you to Danny for looking after the fort at home. I look forward to your company next week.